Good morning, guys. I'm sorry I'm 15 minutes late. Well, almost 20 minutes late. It was a little problem that I had with my washing machine. So, yeah. So my garage area is a little bit flooded. So there's that. Let me get all this stuff ready. Trying to rush in here and get on here and do that at the same time, bail some water out. So just bear with me as I get ready. All right. So I'm pretty much sure. Let me make sure this is. Let me just give me a second. All right, grab my phone real quick. All right. So that was a complete disaster. Let me see here. Good morning, John Cage, and everybody else that's in the chat. Again, I apologize for being late. It was kind of an emergency thing. So let me make sure audio is fine, reception's fine, and all that stuff, and then we'll get right into it. So let me just do this real quick. Reception's fine, all that stuff, and then we'll get right. Okay, so reception is okay and all like that. Let me turn this down because I'm gonna try and keep my eyes on the chat here and there. So I'm gonna have my phone turned on because if you guys haven't realized that, when I do these teachings, I have two windows open, so one overlaps the other. So I don't really be looking at the chat while I'm teaching because I feel like I get distracted sometimes. So let me bring some stuff up because I'm not even prepared right now. So just bear with me. Now, today's topic is going to be on. Hold on. Today's topic is mainly going to be on, as you guys see, the mark of the beast. Okay. So, again, for YouTube, because I know YouTube, has this thing about, saying people are tying stuff to stuff when no one is. But we're going to examine what the scriptures say about the mark. We're going to go into the words used for mark and the words used, the word used for 666. And we're going to also, I'm going to also be trying to go into some clues about how the Antichrist is going to arrive, because he's the one that's going to give everybody the mark, right? So let me just bring this up. Give me a second. I'm opening all this stuff up. What else was I going to get? Sorry, guys, this is going to take me like 3 minutes. I got to bring up all this. So we're going to go into the book of Daniel. Revelation 13, 14, Revelation 20, and so I think it's one more. We're also going to be going into Second Thessalonians chapter 2 that deals with the Antichrist as well, or the lawless one. Okay, so let me just bring this stuff up here. Okay, Daniel 7 and Daniel 9, if I'm not mistaken, mentions the things here. Let me just check real quick. Okay, so it's not Daniel 9. I think that's something else. So let me bring up Second Thessalonians chapter 2. All right, so let me just, I'm going to do the rest of this later, bringing all this other stuff up. So, so share the screen real quick. Hopefully my reception is working perfect. Okay, so this is where I encourage people to go here if you want to, go look into the words and stuff being used. All right. So let's bring this up. Okay, so if anybody have seen my video dealing with how I was reading Revelation when back then when I used to read my Bible when I was younger, around 18 to 21. I don't know why this thing ain't loading, man. I just typed this in 3 times already. Okay. Let me see if I can bring it up this way. No? Okay. Why is this not bringing this up? Okay, so again, here we go with this tomfoolery. No search for no entries found for Revelation 13. Okay, I don't get that. And I know I'm spelling it right, so that's why they switched this up. I gotta go to the Greek. Okay, what's going on? It ain't one thing, it's another. Same thing I was going through when I was trying to they want to bring it up for some reason. Let's see if I put King James Version behind it. No. Okay. Guys, bear with me. I'm trying to bring this up. I don't know. It's not bringing this up. Let's try Revelation. All right. Well, I don't see how it's no results. All else is a important that. Give me a second. Why is it not? If this one, what's going on here? Let me see here. Bear with me, guys. Let's see if this works. All right. So, scripture studies. Actually, let's draw off here. I don't know why it's not bringing it up. So, let me see here. Let me X out of there. Let's open it up in another tab. They just whoop everything out of this concordance here, right? Okay, let's see here. Revelation. Should work now. Let's see. There we go. Now it brings it up. Okay, so here we go. So we all know the scripture here dealing with, the beast from the sea and the beast of the earth. Let me just take this cookies off real quick here. That little bar down there. All right, so let's read through this. We're also going to be going into Revelation 14 as well, and Revelation 20. So it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast of the sea having 7 heads, 10 horns. I kind of want to see what these heads, Greek 2776, what does this mean? Because sometimes I read through this stuff in the Quran, and most of these words I don't even look at, but this will be my first time with this. All right, so it says, this is what it says for the head 76 times. The head, both of men and often of animals, since the loss of the head destroys life. This word is used in the phrases relating to capital or extreme. Metaphorically speaking, anything supreme. So this is a metaphor, right? We understand that the head is metaphorically spoken of in Revelation 13. 7 heads. We know a person doesn't walk around on this earth with 7 heads. Okay, so it's a metaphor. So it's a chief, anything supreme, prominent. Okay, so 7 supreme chiefs or anything prominent, right? So a beast right out of the sea. And this word, I believe, metaphorically speaking, is the sea. And we get further explanation to see the sea being people, right? The sea being people. So let's see what it says here in the lexicon down here dealing with Revelation 13. Let's see if we could find that. That's John. Acts to Revelation, because these are metaphors spoken of in Revelation 13, right? Revelation 13. Okay, so, well, we'll get it in the scripture because this lexicon ain't giving us the, real meaning here. Some of this stuff, I think they changed around. But anyway, let's continue here. 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns, 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. I saw was like unto a leopard. His feet was the feet of a bear. And this is another thing that I was explaining last time dealing with Daniel. I believe I'm on it already. Daniel 7:9. He saw these beasts, right? This is why I went to Daniel 7, right? Because these are the beasts, right? And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. We all understand this is talking about, um, we all understand this is talking about Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Russia, not Russia, Rome. Okay. And to show you guys where I'm getting that from, try and go into, well, let's not even do that again. Let's not do that again. Let's go. Yeah, let's just bring up another one. So I'm bring up another concordance so you guys can see the Daniel 7 dealing with the beasts, the four diverse beasts, right? And then it'll make a lot of sense dealing with Revelation, right? Leopard, bear, lion, right? The leopard, the bear, the lion, and the dragon gave him his power, right? So I wanted to just go into Daniel real quick. As you see, the title is Vision of the Four Beasts. And this is going to tell you what they are. And it is the Ancient of Days reign, Son of Man presented, the interpretation. I believe it's in this chapter. I'm not, no. Oh, that's where it is. Daniel 2. Sorry. Daniel 2. The King of Gotten Dream. The King's Dream. The interpret. Here it is right here. All right. So it says here, the interpretation, Babylon, the first kingdom. We understand that the four beasts are kingdoms, or it could, it could either be kingdoms or ruler, basically. But we understand the first is Babylon, the first kingdom, right? This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. And it says, thou art King of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. And it says, and wheresoever the children of man dwelt, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand and made thee ruler of them all. Thou art this head of gold. Okay. Let me see. It says here, after these shall there arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And Rome, the fourth kingdom, shall be strong as iron, for as much. This is another thing too, right? Iron and clay. I was talking about this on Facebook a while back. Let's keep reading this real quick. Because for anybody that do or don't know history, right? Let me see here. For those that do or don't know history, America and Rome. Is America the successor to Rome? They say neither are successors, but in terms in which is more similar, the USA bears very little resemblance to ancient Rome. That's a lie. This is why I go and look at. Let's just say this. Let's just put this in. That, So this is in the Britannica. I believe this is the same article I was reading a while back. What happened throughout history at the United States of America basically adopted Roman laws. I want to get this. What was this by? Where is this? Okay, get off my screen. I just want to go down here for a quick reference to adopted Roman laws. Because they say that America's not a success wrong. Although you see on back your dollar bill, talk about that. We understand that on the back of the dollar bill there's that Roman wreath, right? You guys go and look at the back of the dollar bill. So I might have to give me a second, guys. My reception is like. Wait a second. Make sure everybody could hear me perfect. Give me a second. I'm having some problems. Yeah. So give me a second, man. This is crazy. All right, so I should be fine on the reception. Hopefully, I'm fine on this reception. All right, so let's get back into this little discussion here. So I'm gonna have to find a nice spot to get reception. Okay, so just give me a second. Get this back up on the screen. Tell you, if it ain't one thing, it's another, guys. I'm sorry. This is like, oh boy. All right, so back on here. Now we understand that this in this article where it talks about when did America adopt Roman Latin laws. Okay, so we get this history of the Byzantine under Julian Justinian, Roman Empire. Talks about how they were in a state of great confusion. Let's see here. Sorry, I didn't have all the stuff up. It's just a lot right now. So let's do this. Law persons, categories of Roman law. Between the law persons in the 2nd century, Juris Gaius, or Gaius, whatever his guy's name is that all men are either free or slaves. The slave was in principle human chattel. Okay, I just want to see where America adopted Roman laws. This is just too long an article to go through. All right, let's just do this. I'm putting this in as a background Latin law, so I could just, references to Roman law in U.S. courts. Here it is right here. This is where I was, laws.loc.gov. Okay, this is where I was when I was looking at this. I thought I could bring it up the other one. Let's just read. Let's read these laws that they adopted. These laws in Congress, whatever. You can go to your laws there, and I don't know why my reception is in. First, it's fine, it's not, and it's good, and it's not. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me. This is gonna be going in because, again, this is not the best reception. All right. So this is what it says: Colombian Insurance Company of Alexandria versus Ashby and Strebling, 38 U.S. 331. This is from 1839. The court analyzed Roman law in a matter concerning the bearing of risks in shipping contracts. We're just going to go through a list of laws that they have adopted. So, Osborne versus Nicholson, 80 U.S. 654. This was in 1871. This case concerned the issue of slavery in the contract clause of the Constitution. So these are all Roman laws here that, So, well, you can go and click on this, the U.S. Supreme Court, and it talks about all this, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to get this list here. So as you see here, this is where they say that Hurtado versus California, analyzing the due process of law clause in the Constitution and referring to Roman law, right? Roman law, okay? Blow that up. These are all the instances, Coffin versus the United States. All this was ran off Roman laws, okay? It's all documented. So it says here, the court studied the presumption of innocence under Roman law. I just want to keep, reiterating that. In, 1897, the court reviewed Roman law regarding the right to appear and be heard and for contempt of court. Another one, Haynes versus the United States. They say, in a dispute over title to land gained from Mexico, the court discussed Roman law, right? So we understand that the American court system is ran off Roman law. All this, United States versus Chavez, the court reviewed the Roman law institution of adverse possession. So just to give you guys a little clue here. So we know that, America is a part of Rome. Okay, let's just say that. They adopted Roman laws. They got all Roman symbology. They got the Roman wreath. They got the Roman wreath on the back of your dollar bill with the eagle that ties to Rome. Okay, so it says here, and the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, for as much as iron break in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest feet and toes, part of potter's clay, right? When it say part of potter's clay, we understand that the Most High refers to himself as the potter, and we're the potter's clay, right? So the potter's clay, human, or, God's creation, and part of iron, and the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed, right? Iron mixed with miry clay. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave one to another, just as iron is not mixed with clay. Okay, some people say that this is a split kingdom, but I think it's we'll get into that when I get into Revelation 13 and explain this. Let's go back to Revelation 13. I just want to give you guys that from Daniel 7 when it talks about the last beast being a diverse beast, taking on, right, in Revelation 13. Daniel 2 says, Daniel 7, sorry, here it is. That this same beast mentioned here, but take on all these beasts, right? This figure here. So we're going to jump back and forth from Daniel 7 to Revelation 13, and we're going to see some similarities here, right? So here it says, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from the other. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings, right? This is the same thing dealing with this beast. So let's just read Daniel 7 real quick and go through all 4. Well, let's go through the 3 beasts, the first 3 beasts, and then we're going to go to the last beast, because the last beast takes on all the power of the first 3, right? So the first was like a lion, had eagle's wings, and I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted from the earth and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Right? And I beheld second beast, another beast, bear. So we're going to hear lion, bear, and leopard dealing with Revelation 13, because the beast, right, dreadful and terrible. We're going to read that, but let's go back up here. Behold, another beast, a second, like unto a bear, and it raised up on one side and held the mouth of it, the teeth of it, and said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. And after this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard. Okay, so we see the lion, the bear, and the leopard here, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it. And this is the last beast right here. It says, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Right? Now, this is getting into this. Now, how does this Daniel 7 prophecy tie in to the fulfillment of Revelation 13? Well, let's read Revelation 13 here in verse 2. And it said, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his were as the feet of a bear, as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And we understand that this beast here has 7 heads and 10 horns. Daniel says here, the beast, it was diverse from all beasts, wherefore it had 10 horns. Right here, 10 horns. Same beast, 10 horns. Right? Oh, upon his crown, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Let's see a little bit more of Daniel 7 here. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn before him, whom there was the 3 of the horns plucked up by the roots. And I would say that these are the first 3 beasts, where they're being resembled as the horns plucked up by the roots. Right, Jose Garcia, I see you in here. Welcome. Where was I? Plucked up by the roots, and behold, and this horn were the eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Okay, we're going to get back to this. The mouth speaking great things. And then it says, I beheld until the thrones were cast down in the ancient days, who did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair, the hair of his head like the pure wool, and his throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. And from the judgment was right? Daniel in Revelation 14, and also a little bit of Revelation 20. And the reason why I'm saying that, because you go through 7, you see these same 3 beasts, and the 4 take on the power of all the 3 beasts that were before it, that would probably resemble the 3 horns that were plucked up by the roots here, right? Before whom the first 3, the 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Right, we understand that Babylon was destroyed. I believe Medo-Persia was also destroyed after the second destruction. And well, Media and Persia were destroyed. And, you know, this last beast is what remains, right? Also in Esdras that talks about these same beasts, but that's just another story. I might bring that up so you guys could see that as well. Let me see. What was that? Second Esdras 12. Revised Standard Version. This is the same thing here, right? So you go down here to the interpretation of the vision. Now this is why I went here, and this is why I read the Apocrypha, right? Most say that, you know, we're not supposed to read the Apocrypha, but this is what it says in the Apocrypha, dealing with the interpretation of this vision that Ezra saw, 2nd Ezra chapter 12. Okay. So it talks about this lion and the eagle. And I looked and beheld the remaining head disappeared, right? It's talking about the 10 heads here. And the 2 wings that had gone over, and 2 wings that had gone over 2 poles and set themselves up to reign, and their reign was brief and full of tumult. And I looked, and behold, they also disappeared, and the whole body of the eagle was burned, and the earth was exceedingly terrified. Then I woke in great perplexity of mind and in great fear, and said to my spirit, behold, you have brought this upon me, because you search out the ways of the Most High. Behold, I'm still weary in my mind and very weak in my spirit, and not even a little strength is left in me, because of the great fear with which I have been terrified this night. Therefore, I will beseech the Most High that he may strengthen me to the end. Okay. So this is the interpretation of the vision. And you're going to see here that this same vision Ezra had is concerning these beasts here in Daniel 7. It's right here. And I said, O sovereign Lord, if I have found favor in thy sight, and if I have been accounted righteous before thee beyond many others, and if my prayer has indeed come up before thy face, strengthen me and show me thy servant the interpretation and meaning of this terrifying vision, for thou that thou mayest fully comfort my soul. For thou hast judged me worthy to be shown. Now listen to the words he used here. He says, for thou hast judged me worthy to be shown the end of the times and the last events of the time. So he's talking about the last days here, right? So this is what the Most High tells Ezra. And this is why I went to this book. And this is why I'm explaining out of Daniel, going into Revelation, and then talk about 2nd Thessalonians. And sorry, I brought up. All right. I don't know why I brought this. Oh, it's in Daniel 7 anyway. I'm sorry. We'll get there. So let's just read this part about what Esdras was being shown about these beasts. And then we'll go back into Revelation 13, finish that out, and then read the rest of Daniel 7, and then we'll go into 2nd Thessalonians, because Daniel 7 talks about part of 2nd Thessalonians, right? And then we'll go Revelation 14 and 20 after that. So that Ezra's was shown, and it says here, and he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision which you have seen. The eagle which you saw coming up from the sea is the 4th kingdom, right? We just saw that the 4th kingdom was Rome, right? In Daniel's vision. And he says here, the 4th kingdom which appeared in a vision to your brother Daniel, but it was not explained to him as I now explain or explained it to you. Behold, the days are coming when a kingdom shall rise on earth. So we understand this kingdom is going to arise, and it shall be more terrifying than all the kingdoms that have been before it, and 12 kings shall reign in it, one after another, but the second that is to reign shall hold sway for a longer time than any of the other 12. This is the interpretation of the 12 wings which you saw. Now, I would have to go into Revelation 11. I mean, not Revelation 11. 2nd Esdras 11. So you can get the wings, the heads, and all that stuff and how that's going to be playing out. But I'm just reading the interpretation because it's talking about this same vision Daniel had here. But Esdras was shown more than Daniel. So this is the 12 wings. This is the interpretation of the 12 wings you saw. As for your hearing a voice that spoke, coming not from the eagle's heads, but from the midst of his body, this is the interpretation. In the middle of the time of that kingdom, great struggles shall arise, and it shall be in danger of falling. Nevertheless, it shall not fall then, but shall regain its former power. As for your seeing the 8 little wings cling to its wings, this is the interpretation, right? What is that? Revelation 17. Let's bring this up real quick. Let's go down here to Revelation 17 because Esdras was shown all these things, right? What is it? What am I looking for? Okay, I think it is Revelation 17. Talks about this. So this is talking about the beast, the son of perdition, and go into perdition, right? 2nd Thessalonians. And here it is, the interpretations here. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. It's explaining this beast here, the 7 heads and 10 horns, right? Revelation 17 says, and here's the mind which hath wisdom. 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. Now, this is the 7 kings, the 8th. And then here's the 10 horns down here in verse 12. So we're going to read 10 to 12. So these are the 8 kings, right? That's mentioned in Esdras. Says, and there was 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So that's talking about right here. Where is it? Here it is. 8 kings shall arise in it, whose time shall be short and their years swift. Okay, these are the 8 kings here. So the 8th is of the 7 and goeth into perdition. So we're going to see this word perdition, right? Go down here. Where is this? Also, let no man deceive by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. We understand that there is a falling away from the faith. There has been a falling away from the faith, the truth, right? And then that man of sin shall reveal the son of perdition, right? Just like here, the 8th king is the son of perdition, right? So let's go back in here. 8 kings shall arise in it, whose time shall be short and their years swift. And 2 of them shall perish in the middle of its time draws near. The 4th, and 4 shall be kept for the time when its end approaches, but 2 shall be kept until the end. As for seeing 3 heads at rest, this is the interpretation. In its last days, the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they shall renew many things in it, and shall rule the earth and its inhabitants more oppressively than all who were before them. Therefore they are called the heads of the eagle. For it is they who shall sum up his wickedness and perform his last actions. Talk about the last days. As for seeing that the large head disappeared, one of the kings shall die in his bed, but in agonies. But as for the two who remain, the sword shall devour them. For the sword of one of them, for the sword of one shall devour him who is with him, but he shall also fall by the sword in the last days. As for you're seeing two little wings pass over to the head, which is on the right side, this is the interpretation. And it is these whom the Most High has kept for the eagle's end. This was the reign which was brief and full of tumult, as you have seen. All right, so this is the vision of the lion that's up here, right? This is the vision of the lion. While the lion was saying these words to the eagle, I looked, and behold, the remaining head disappeared, and the two wings that had gone over to it arose and set themselves up to reign, and their reign was brief and full of tumult. And I looked, and behold, they also disappeared, and the whole body of the eagle was burned, and the earth was exceedingly terrified. Now I was going to tell you who the lion is. All right, so let's go down here. And as for the lion whom you saw roused up out of the forest and roaring and speaking to the eagle and reproving him for his unrighteousness, and as for his words that you have heard, this is the Messiah whom the Most High has kept until the end of days, who will arise from the posterity of David and will come to speak to them. He will denounce them for their ungodliness and for their wickedness, and will cast up before them their contemptuous dealings. For first he will sit them living before his judgment seat, and when he has reproved them, he will destroy them. But he will deliver in mercy the remnant of my people, those who have been saved throughout my borders, and he will make them joyful until the end comes, and the day of judgment of which I spoke to you at the beginning. This is the dream that you saw, and this is its interpretation. And you alone were worthy to learn this secret of the Most High. Therefore, write all these things that you have seen in a book in place, and you shall teach them to the wise among your people, whose hearts you know are able to comprehend and keep these secrets. But wait here 7 days more, so that you may be shown whatever it pleases the Most High to show you. Then he left me. All right, so let's go back into Revelation and look at this, right? The reason why I'm going into this is because I'm going to be going into the words for Mark and the words for 666. Excuse me. All right, so let's continue with this. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. So, and all the world wondered after the beast. They worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, right? We have this here, up here, when it talks about he considered the horns in verse 8. This deals with the fourth beast having 10 heads. 10 horns. I consider horns beheld, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were the first horns plucked up by the roots. And I behold the horns. This horn were excuse me. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things, right? And we see in Revelation 13, this beast that comes out the sea, right, was given a mouth speaking great things. Where is that at? I was just here. There was given unto him a mouth speaking great things. Verse 5, 13:5. And blasphemies and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And this ties in with the time of the Gentiles. And let me bring this up. In Revelation 14, I believe, which is going to be what we're going to get into next. I just want to point this out. If it's in here, let me see. Oops, wrong Revelation. 40 and 2 months. Oh, Revelation talked about this. Sorry. So in Revelation 11, right, this is the fulfillment to Luke 21, 20 through 24, right? It says, there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, arise and measure the temple of God and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 40 and 2 months, right? We understand that this beast here, he was given power, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. And he opened his mouth. Yeah. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names were not. These are the people that's going to be worshiping the beast, whose names were not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And this is the second beast. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused all the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wounds healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceive them, right? And we get this whole thing right here in 2 Thessalonians, when it talks about this here, but I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Kind of stay on Revelation real quick, 13. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying unto them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And we're going to get this verse 15 in Revelation 14 when we get there. And it says here, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, kind of like what we're hearing right now, that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right, so let's go into these words that was being used here. So we see here that he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So this here, the word for mark, right, is charagma. Let's play this so you guys can hear it.
Strong's G 5480, charagma.
Charagma, right? It's spelled charagma though. So it says here, it's used 2 times, 8 times in the sense of a mark, 1 as graven. Now it says here, where is this reference? From the same as Greek 5482. But before I go to Greek, this is the root word for mark, the Greek word 5482. Okay. Now let's go down here, and it says here, a stamp, an imprinted mark, of the mark stamped on the forehead. They say on, but the scriptures say in, you know, of the mark stepped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. A mark branded upon horses. We know it's not talking about that. So we understand that this Revelation 13 mark is this mark here. And then it says of idolatrous images, a thing carved, sculptured, graven work. Now let's go here. And it says here, charagma or charagma, same as 5482. Let's see if this is the same 5480. Yep, right here, 5482. We're going to get into this word here. So it says here, a scratch or etching, i.e. a stamp as a badge of servitude, or sculptured figure, statue, graven, mark. So let's go down here, and it talks about Revelation 13, Revelation 14, Revelation 15, Revelation 16, so on and so forth, right? Now let's go here, because we see that this means a scratch or etching. And it tells us to go to the root word here, 5482. Let's go to 5482. And this is Charax, right?
Strong's G 5482. Charax.
All right, so it says here, used in a sense one time as trench, right? And then it says here, a pale or stake, a palisade or rampart, pales between which earth and stones and trees and timbers. Okay, we know that it's not what it's talking about. So we go down here to this Strong's definition. And this word means to sharpen to a point, right? Akin to, through the idea of scratching, a stake, i.e. by implication, a palisade or rampart, military mound for circumvallation in a siege, trench. So let's see what it says down here. So it talks about it in Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Luke, but it tells us to refer to those words. So this thing right here, to sharpen to a point, right? So let's go here and see what this says. Oops. I went back too far. All right. So let's see here. We're going to go into 14. So this talks about the 144,000, the Lamb and the 144,000 on Mount Zion. And for you guys to understand who the 144,000 is, it's in Revelation 7. Tells us right there, Revelation 7. And it says here, after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, so this is who the 144,000 is. It's not just any people, it's these people. And it says here, it tells you the people of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. The tribe of Reuben were sealed 12. Tribe of Gad, 12,000. So we understand 12 times 12,000 is 144,000. Okay, 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, so this tells you who the 144,000 are. They're the 12 tribes, right? Back here, Revelation 14. So it says, that, you know. And I looked, and lo, the Lamb stood on Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as a voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung a new song. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Let's look at this word virgins here. Because people say, oh, you have to be a literal virgin that didn't have, any relation with women. Right. But it says here, a virgin, a marriageable maiden, a woman who has never had sexual intercourse with a man, one's marriageable daughter. We understand that, it says a man who has abstained from all uncleanness and whoredom, attendant on idolatry, and so has kept his chastity. This is what it's talking about, those that were not defiled with idolatry, and so has kept his chastity. And then it says here, one who has never had intercourse with women. I think it's talking about this one here, because if the Most High put us on this earth, right, to be fruitful and multiply, right, to be fruitful and multiply, then why would he only accept those who were not fruitful and did not multiply? Right? That was a command given in the garden. Be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth, right? Of course, it's not talking about a literal virgin, although it says they were not defiled with women, because it says here, a man who has abstained from all uncleanness and whoredom, attendant on idolatry, and so has kept his chastity. So you guys could just take that for whatever you want, right? But let's go here. It says here, these are virgins, for they were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile. Guile just means deceit, right? So you guys can see craft, deceit, guile, right? Wow, craft, deceit, guile, subtlety. All those people that are subtle with their talking, a trick, i.e. bait, figuratively, a wow. So let's see here what this is talking about over here. And it says here, in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I think this is really three categories of people, right? You got one category that wasn't defiled, period. They were virgins, period. And it says, these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, period. And it doesn't say and tying these all together. It's given three different categories. The vision of the angel with the gospel, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth. Right? Let's see what this word heaven, right? Because this ties back to the rakia, or the firmament. It is Oranos.
Strong's G 3772, Uranas.
Well, I can't really pronounce it in the language that is said, but I'm just going to say it the way it says. And it says here, heaven 286 times, air 10 times, sky 5 times, heavenly once. Biblical outline usage. The vaulted expanse of the sky with all things visible in it. The world, the universe. And it says here, the aerial heavens or sky, the region where the clouds of the tempest gather and where thunder and lightning are produced. And it says here, the region above the sidereal heaven, the seat of order of things, eternal and consummately perfect, where God dwells in other heavenly beings. And then it goes down here and it talks about it, the heavens and sky has the abode of God and all that stuff, right? And then it goes down. Where is this at? And the heavens were open unto him, and I saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove upon and lightning upon him. Right. So when you go into the Old Testament and you look at the word for heaven, it is Rakia. And of course, you got different translating, a different translation, which means it's going to be a different meaning, but it still ties in. The vault of heaven, the vaulted expanse, right? But that's another story to get into. So this is dealing with the fall of Babylon from Revelation 17, no, from Revelation 18, Revelation 14 and 18, these two tie together. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach on them. I read that. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she hath made all nations drink of the wine of wrath of her fornication. This is explained even more in Revelation 18. Doom for the worshipers of the beast. And it says, and the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his right hand or in his forehead. We just went into this word mark. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. So we understand that those that get the mark, that worship the beast or his image, people think that, hey, I just got to repent and turn my life over to the Most High and his son. And then they X out this whole thing. And the question remains, can salvation be lost? Yes, it can. If you take this mark, yes, it can. Right? You can't gain salvation and then go on ahead and worship the beast. And it says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yeah, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. So everything you do down here is going to follow you. And it talks about the reapers, right? And I looked and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, right? We understand that the Son of Man is the Messiah coming back to earth, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the midst of the temple, which is in heaven, and he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, gathered the vine of the earth, and cast into the great winepress of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Right? So again, you're gonna have a lot of people that that don't want to stick around and find out the truth, which is very dangerous, right? Especially when we're in the last days, right? But that's why he said, to those who have an ear, let them hear, right? Not a lot of people are gonna want to hear, right? So let's get back into this, dealing with the son of perdition, right? And the beast that was is not, is and goeth into perdition. Bring that down. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And they have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Now, this right here, when it talks about these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, this was also talked about in Ezra. Let me bring this up. Second Esdras, what is it, 14, I believe. Or it could be 13. Let me just check 13 real quick. Let me check 13, put RSV behind it. Okay, so 13, Second Ezra 13 talks about the men from the east, right? So all right, what's going on? Why ain't it loading? Stop. Load. All right. Ezra 13 talks about Ezra had another dream. The seventh dream, the dream of the night. A wind rose. The sea started to look, made something like bigger part of the sea. And I looked at the cloud of heaven. We are at this talk. Behold, come out, and every eye shall see him, right? And wherever he turned his face to look, everything under his gaze trembled. And whenever his voice issued from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted as wax melts when it fills the fire. After this, I looked, and behold, an innumerable, right? This is talking about, where is this? Let me bring that down, bring it down. 17. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. This is what Ezra's talking about. After this, I looked, and behold, an innumerable multitude of men were gathered together from the four winds of heaven. This is also referring to the Gog and Magog battle, Revelation 20, which is what I was going to bring up as well. Revelation 20 talks about this, right? Let's get back to this. After this, I looked, and behold, innumerable multitude of men were gathered together from the four winds of the heaven to make war with the man who came up out of the sea. And I looked, and behold, he carved out for himself a great mountain and flew upon it. And I tried to see the region or place from which the mountain was carved, but I could not. After this, I looked, and behold, all who had gathered together against him to wage war with him were much afraid, yet dared to fight. And behold, when he saw the onrush of the approaching multitude, he neither lifted his hand nor held a spear or any weapon of war, but I saw only how he sent forth from his mouth as it were a stream of fire, and from his lips a breath, and from his tongue he shot forth a storm of sparks. All these were mingled together, the stream of fire, and breath, and great storm, on the multitude were prepared to fight and burn them all up. We understand that this is Malachi 4. Right? Malachi 4. It says here, burned. You guys, steer Malachi 4. Oh, yes. Or behold, come and all and I find this right. But then when I'm like, not watching you or doing something, that's just fine. But again, it is working. Move this, bring this back. All right, there we go. All right. Oh, let's get back into it. All right, shots oven all day, all weekly shots day, and the day that cometh shall burn up, for it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But on you that my name shall the Son of Man arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stall. Ye tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. In the day that I shall do this, said the Most High. And then why would he say this here? The Old Testament. A lot of people keep saying that these laws are with. Why would he say, remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in horror for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments? Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So we understand that this here is going to happen before he comes back. It said here, he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and fight the earth for the curse. Let's talk about this in 13, right? Why would he say, remember ye the law of Moses? So it says, all these were together, the stream of fire, the flaming breath, the great storm, and fell on the unwashing multitude, which will appear to burn them all up. So that suddenly nothing was seen of the innumerable multitude, only the dust of ashes and the smells of smoke. This is why I went to Malachi 4. The wicked, and he shall tread the wicked down. And, they're going to be ashes under the sole of your feet. When I saw it, I was amazed. After this, I saw the same man come down from the mountain and called to himself another multitude, which was peaceable. Then many people came to him, some of whom were joyful, some sorrowful, some of them were bound, and some were bringing others offerings. The interpretation. Now, this is going to tell you that, the people is going to be destroyed by the law. Then in great fear I awoke, and I besought the Most High, and said, from the beginning thou hast shown thy servant these wonders, and hast deemed me worthy to have my prayer heard by thee. Now show me the interpretation of this dream. For as I consider in my mind, alas, for those who be left in those days, and still more, alas, for those who are not left. Right? Why would he say, for those that are blessed are the ones who remain on? But everybody's preaching this rapture. Blessed are they, get out of here. and still last for and still more last for those who are left, who are not left. For those who are not left will be sad. Why will they be sad? Because they understand what is reserved for the last days. But alas for those also who are left for that very reason, for they shall see great dangers, much distress, as things. Yet it is better to come into these things, though incurring peril, than to pass from the world like a cloud and not see what shall happen in the last days. So why would he say, blessed are those that are left and remaining, that see what will happen in the last days, if people are just going to be magically zapped off earth during this so-called rapture event before the end comes? It doesn't make sense. But again, people pick apart scripture, or they'll take one verse and say, oh yeah, we're going to get out of here. We're not going to be able to see the perils or anything like that. It says here, and he answered me and said, I will tell you the interpretation of the vision. I will also explain to you things which you have mentioned. As for what you said about the left, this is the interpretation. He who brings the peril at that time will himself protect those who fall into peril, who have works and faith in the Almighty. Understand, therefore, that those who are left are more blessed than those who have died. Now, it doesn't say that, those who are left are more blessed than those who are raptured away. It is those that have died. Talk like, what is that? Sodom and Gomorrah, right? When the flood took them all away, it means they perished. That's what it means to be taken away. That's why he said, understand, therefore, that those who are left are more blessed than those who have died. This is the interpretation of the vision. As for your seeing a man come up from the sea, the heart of the sea, this is he whom the Most High has been for many ages, who will himself deliver his creation, and he will direct those who are left. And as for your seeing the wind and fire and storm coming out of his mouth, and as for his not holding a spear or weapon of war, yet destroying the onrushing multitude which came to conquer him, this is the interpretation. Behold, the days are coming when the Most High will deliver those who are on the earth, and bewilderment of mind shall overcome those who dwell on the earth. And they shall plan to make war against one another. Here's that same blue mark, right? The signs of the end. And they shall plan to make war against one another, city against city, place against place, people against people, kingdom against kingdom. And when these things come to pass, and the signs which occur, which I have showed before, then my son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man coming up out of the sea. And when all the nations hear his voice, every man shall leave his own land and the warfare that they have against one another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw, desiring to come and conquer him. But he will stand on the top of Mount Zion, and Zion will come and be made manifest to all people, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands. And he, my son, will reprove the assembled nations for their ungodliness. Right? And then it says, this was symbolized by the storm, and will reproach them to their face with their evil thoughts and the torments with which they are to be tormented, which is symbolized by the flames, and will destroy them without effort by what? By the law. The thing that everybody says is done away with, right? And will destroy them without effort by the law, which was symbolized by fire. And as for your seeing him gather to himself another multitude that was peaceable, these are the 10 tribes which were led away from their own land into captivity in the days of King Hoshea, whom Salmanasar, the king of the Assyrians, led captive. He took them across the river and they were taken into another land. But they formed this plan for themselves that they would leave the multitude of the nations and go to a more distant region where mankind had never lived. Remember that whole thing about the New World, right? That there at least they might keep their statutes, which they had not kept in their own land. And this is why I think this awakening is happening with this whole awakening thing. It's happening in America, right? But let's continue. And they went in by the narrow passage of the Euphrates River, for at that time the Most High performed signs for them and stopped the channels of the river until they had passed over. Through that region, there was a long way to go, a journey of a year and a half, and that country is called Arzareth. Then they dwelt there until the last times. Now, when they're about to come again, the Most High will stop the channels of the river again, so that they may be able to pass over. Therefore, you saw the multitude gathered together in peace. But those who are left, your people, who are found within my holy borders, shall be saved. Therefore, when he destroys the multitude of the nations that were gathered together, he will defend the people who remain. And then he will show them very many wonders. Okay. So have that. Now, dealing with this whole thing about the multitudes gathered, right? We got to get Revelation 20 for this whole thing about what I just read in these previous verses. And also, before we get that, we're going to mention this war in Revelation 16, right? I'm going to go Revelation 16, 20. That down. I'm going to go 16, 20, and then finish it off. All right. Revelation 16 says this, right? I find it very, very fascinating, right? It says this, dealing with this book here will give you understanding of what's going to play out here and 13 and 14 and in Daniel's prophecy, right? So chapter 16 says this is when all the angels, and this is what we're currently experiencing right now. And I'm going to read this. These are the signs dealing with the end. And let me just do this. Let me throw 2nd Ezra 5 in there and compare the two. Because again, okay, let's see what I'll bring up here. All right, so Revelation 16. So it says this here, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your way and pour out the vows of the wrath of God upon the earth. The first went out, poured out his vow upon the earth, and there fell a noisome sore and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast. Let's get this, because I wanted to look this up, but I was trying to find the thing. Let's go into the concordance again and see exactly the further explanation of this mark, the mark of the beast here. Okay, so let's go here. Revelation 16. I hope I'm getting the echo on this. What's his name? Bowls of wrath, right? So it says here, the mark, it is still this word here, the scratching, the etching, or, still charagma, or, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm just going to read it as I see it. So the beast here, 2342, right? Let's see what the beast is. Therion.
Strong's G 2342. Therion.
Or whatever. Therion. I was close. All right, so it says down here, beast, wild beast, venomous beast, an animal, a wild animal, wild beast. But we know that this isn't talking about animals giving people a mark. This is metaphorically speaking. A brutal and bestial man, savage and furious. This is what it's talking about, right? So it's talking about this. Let's go down here. Revelation, where am I? 16. Where's this one for Revelation 16? It don't have it. It got 11, 13, and 20. Talks about the beast here. And it says here, under the figurative of a beast is depicted Antichrist, right? That's what it's talking about. So let's go back here. And it says here, the first went and poured out his vow upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. And the second angel poured out his vow upon the sea, and it became as blood, the blood of a dead man, and every living soul in the sea died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vow upon the rivers and fountains of water, and they became blood. Well, we've seen for a while now, right? We've seen for a while now, and I'm going to use this. Rivers turn blood red, right? And this is in 2021. Let's go into the news, right? 2 weeks ago, they say pollution turns Argentina lake bright pink. No, it's red. It look like blood here. But of course, they'll tell you anything else. Here it is. A horseshoe crabs. Oh, no, that's nothing. All right, let's talk about floods there. Let's just go rivers turn blood red without putting a time on it. This is 1 week ago. Lagoon turns shocking pink, and fish farm may be to, they say, they tell you everything else but, oh, these are the judgments of the Most High, right? They want you to believe everything else but what the Bible says. This is from November 9th, 2020. Locals horrified as river turns blood red, animals refuse to enter it, right? So we understand that most of this stuff is happening, right? But they just give you another explanation. They tell you it's something else. And I heard an angel of the waters say, thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and which was and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and has given them blood, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, again, these titles, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. Okay, I like to call him his name, but sometimes it doesn't make sense the way they put this, so I'm just going to read it as is, okay? And the fourth angel poured out his vow upon the sun, and this is what I'm looking at this news, right? Looking at this news. Let's put this in. I'm looking at the news, and it's no coincidence. News, right? Heat wave. 5 heat waves have swelled across northern hemisphere. New York Times, what to know about the heat waves. Of course, they're going to tell you something else again. Yet another major heat wave. This 3 weeks ago. This is 1 month ago. This is 2 weeks ago. Pacific Northwest heat wave, virtually impossible without climate change. No. They tell you climate change. I say God's judgments. This is 1 month ago. Al Jazeera. Never seen anything like this. Hundreds dead amid Canada heat wave. At least 486 sudden deaths recorded in British Columbia since Friday as temperatures soared on Canada's west coast. 1 month ago. Death Valley hits 130 degrees as heat wave sweeps the west. So this is what it says in Revelation 16, sorry. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of God, which had power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. So even after all these things are going on, people are still not going to be repenting. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness. And they gnawed their tongues, for great pain, and blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. So we understand that they're not going to stop doing the deeds, the works that they're doing, right? The sixth angel poured out his vial upon, this is where I'm talking about also, that deals with this multitude. And it's also mentioned here in Revelation 20, but let's get this. And it says here, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Let's focus here on this one. It says that the angel poured his vial upon the river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. Now, I already did this, and we're in that time. So let's see, according to scripture, right? According to scripture, the sixth angel pours out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. Let's stop right there and look in the news. Euphrates River dries up in 2020. And it says here, catastrophic decline of Euphrates River water level. And it says here, is the Euphrates River dried up right now? There is nothing new. Say disaster, he said. Water level in Euphrates rivers is down by at least 5 meters. Dry, cracked ground stretches along its bank. May 2nd, 2021. So we understand now that, the Euphrates is all dried up. And then it fascinates me because, hello, Carol. It fascinates me because when you look at this prophecy here, dealing with the sixth angel, it says that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And then it goes on to say that after this, Armageddon. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of the devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them together to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. We understand that right now, the East, the Middle East, is in complete war, right? Right when the Euphrates, and it's no coincidence that, the Euphrates River completely dries up in May. Let's get this timestamp. May 21st, 2021, this year. And all of a sudden, an outbreak of war happens in the Middle East. What? So this is being fulfilled right now, which means Armageddon is close at hand, which means it's nothing to be afraid of dealing with this because everything's going to happen in the East, according to the prophecy. And it says here, I beheld, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth. If you're watching, you're going to know exactly what's going on. And keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, 7th bowl, right? So who knows? Maybe we're close. Maybe we're on the 6th angel blowing poured out his vial already. The 6th angel poured out his vial already. And now we're just waiting on the 7th vial, the 7th bowl of wrath, which I think is going to take place once again. Let me bring this back up for you guys. And this is why I truly believe that we are halfway through tribulation, right? So this is the 2017 to 2024 eclipse map. Let's look at this image. And this is America. We see that August 21st, 2017, this eclipse path here goes on. The next one is April 8th, 2024, and it clearly marks America with an X. Why is that? And this comes after 7 years? Could it be that we're already in the 7-year tribulation, halfway? Could it be? Just a question that we must ask. So let's go back here, bring this down. Seventh bowl of wrath. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the throne of heaven from the throne saying, "It is done." And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon. We're going to get this in Revelation 20. No, that's Revelation 18. I'm sorry. Dealing with Babylon has fallen. I'm not going to maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should just drag this live out for until 2 hours and 30 minutes, because it's going to take just that long to get all this stuff so people could better understand how these things are going to play out. Let's see here. Where am I at? Down here. It says the great city was divided into 3 parts, and Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of his fierceness, the cup of wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men great hell out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of hell, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Okay, now let's go into 18. And this is talking about this in a little bit more detail. Where is this? All right. Revelation 18. When it talks about Babylon coming up in remembrance before the Most High, says this, right? We all know this whole thing. I did this on Facebook. I posted this word for sorceries, which means pharmakia, which is where we get pharmacies from. And then remember, this thing is plaguing the whole world. And it says down here, by their sorceries were all nations deceived. Or if we want to replace that word and use the word that ties in with it, it would be for by thy pharmacies were all nations deceived. Hold on, guys. Let me see something. I gotta go look at something. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I had to go retrieve my clothes from the dryer. All right. So it says, let's go up here, because this just seems like this is what we're going through right now. Okay, so it says, after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, right? And this talks about it right here, right? Says right here. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came before remembrance of God. So this is what it's talking about. Saying Babylon the Great is fallen, is becoming the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit in the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunken the wine of wrath for fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth will wax rich through the abundance of her delicacies. What nation does this sound like? Being Babylon. Just continue for a little bit more. I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of sins. Ye receive her plague, for sins have reached on heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities." Same thing in Revelation 16. Reward ye double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled for double, how much she hath glorified herself deliciously, so much torment so give her, for he said, her queen and no widow, and shall see no sorrow. For her place shall come in day, death, mourning, and famine, she shall be utterly burned with fire. America sounds like America. Let me just bring this right quick. Because I was looking at this earlier. Bad. This really got to stop. It's just what's going on here. Let's see if I can bring it back to full screen real quick. No, that's up here. Okay. Come out. Just either it out. Give me a all right. So let's see if I can do it. I'm gonna bring this down really. All right, let's see here. Load this back up. All right, here we go. All right, so see all these fires breaking out. I was going to go here. This is what it says in Second Ezra. Signs of the end. Now, let me finish Revelation here. So it says, every island fled away and the mountains were not found, and there fell upon man great. Oh, I read that. Where am I? I think it's this here. Therefore shall plagues come in one day, death, mourning. All right. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication live where. All right, I read that. All right. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and live deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, saying, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. For the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buy their merchandise anymore. Excuse me. The merchandise of gold, silver, and precious stones, and pearls, and fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet. Excuse me. And all thine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of the most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ornaments and frankincense and oil and wine and fine wheat and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits of thy soul that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things that which are dainty and good are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things were made rich by her, which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, this sounds like the economic collapse that's coming. For in 1 hour, so riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships by the reason ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers. Now, again, when I did this last time, I was explaining that this sounds like the current lockdowns that we went under. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found no any more at all in thee. And the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the lights of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And it's where sorcery is pharmacies, right? Pharmacies. Just think about our current situation in the distribution of said CVS. And in her was found the blood of prophets and saints and all that were slain upon the earth. All right, so let's go into Revelation 12. I see my live is kind of choppy, but let's go here. Now concerning times, the signs, behold, the days are coming when those who dwell on earth shall be seized with great terror, and the way of truth shall be hidden, right? This is the signs concerning the end. So we understand that the way of truth is hidden, right? All right. The way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith, and unrighteousness shall be increased beyond what you yourself see and beyond what you have heard formerly. We understand that we see a lot of lawlessness going on around the world. We also see that most of this land is barren of faith. We also know that the way of the truth is hidden, right? These things. And the land which you now see ruling will be waste and untrodden. You shall see it desolate. But if the Most High grant that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the third period. This nation in total confusion. And it says here, the sun shall suddenly shine forth at night, and the moon during the day. A lot of people are seeing the moon out in the daytime, right? Blood shall drip from wood, and the stone shall utter its voice, and the people shall be troubled, and the stars shall fall. Here we go. Let's look at this. They say meteors, but these are stars. Pleiades, Perseids, meteor shower peaks August 11th and 12th with optimal viewing condition, right? These are stars falling, okay? These aren't meteors. Keep an eye. Look, this is what they say. Remember that whole scripture. Look, when you see these things, let's bring that up in Luke. When you begin to see these things happen, look up. Right? And they say, keep an eye to the sky. Keep an eye to the sky. Here's everything you need to know about the Perseids meteor shower. 2 hours ago, actually. Just talking about this. We know these are fallen stars. We know that these people aren't telling us the absolute truth, because according to Ezra, the way of truth shall be hidden. So we understand that. It says here, one shall reign whom those who dwell on earth do not expect, and the birds shall fly away, and the sea of Sodom shall cast up fish, and one who the many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all shall hear his voice. There shall be chaos also in many places. We see this happening right now. And here we go. And fire shall often break out. Well, look at the West Coast. The West Coast had fire after fire. They put one up. Here comes another one. Right? The wild beasts shall roam on their hunts. That means you're going to see wild beasts roaming streets, places where you've never seen wild beasts before. That happened. And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall conquer one another. Then shall reason hide itself, and wisdom shall withdraw into its chamber, and it shall be sought by many, but shall not be found. And righteous and unrighteous shall increase on the earth. And one country shall ask its neighbor, has righteousness or anyone who does right pass through you? And it will answer no. Okay, so we understand that no one, and remember what righteousness is. Let's go into Deuteronomy for that. Deuteronomy 6:25. Right? This is what righteousness is. You can ask somebody, what's righteousness? And say, who knows what to say? Well, I never asked anybody, but the Bible says righteousness is. And it shall be our righteousness to do all these commandments before the Most High as He hath commanded us. But a lot of people say that, oh, this stuff is done away with. Okay. Well, righteousness and unrestraint shall increase on earth. That's what happened when you said these laws are done with. Right? That's why that country has righteousness. Right? Will answer no, because no one's keeping the laws. The laws are done away with, remember? And at that time men shall hope but not obtain. They shall labor, but their way shall. These are the things which I am permitted to tell you. And if you pray again and weep as you do now, and fast for 7 days, you shall hear yet greater things than these. All right, we understand that we're living in this time right here. Right? Now let's go here, dealing with for the connection, but you got to bear with me because I'm not in the best spot for good connection. I can still break up too, but hold on, let me see a thing this way. Let me try and move this over here. See if that'll work. No? Put it right here. It's just funny because I always have problems with my reception when I come on and teach, which really bothers me. I mean, it don't really bother me, but it's just really annoying that when I'm on here trying to teach, just too much is going on. But give me a second, guys. I'm listening in so I can see where I'm breaking up at. All right, let me know if I can hear now. Yeah, it's horrible. Anyway, let me see if I could try to get this thing to work. Let me just put my what's his name? Hold on, give me a second. I gotta move this router. Let's see, I can do this service over here. All right, let's see if I put it over there. It's just a little bit better if I could be heard. All right, I sound fine now. So let's see. Let's get back into this whole thing. I'm gonna have to bring this down in the next bring this down in the next 21 minutes. So I'm gonna just blast through this real quick. So let me take this down, take this down, take this down, take this active fire map down, take this down. Maybe that'll free up some bandwidth here. Probably got too much stuff open. So I did this. All right, take this down. It's done with. All right, so now we got. And I saw another angel come down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. This is talking about the Gog and Magog war. If you guys want to see what I did on the study on that, that was I think I did that 2 days ago, or I did that day ago, one or two. But it says, I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent was called, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. After that, he must be loose for a little season. And I saw thrones, and they that sit upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yehoshua, or, who God called for the word of Yah, the word of God, Yah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years, or with the Messiah 1,000 years, say that. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection, right? Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of Yah and the Messiah, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. I really need to go and get that eastward, so I could read the original restored names instead of these titles here, right? And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are on the four quarters of the earth. Again, let me bring this up in the Hebrew Concordance so you guys could see that this Gog and Magog did not change from the Old Testament. And the only way you're going to find out who Gog and Magog is if you read Genesis 10, Ezekiel 37. I mean, not Ezekiel 37, but Ezekiel 38. Okay? That's where you find that. Let's go back into the Hebrew Concordance and look at this. Revelation 20, right? You guys go to the previous study I did. I think it was yesterday. In my live discussion. Okay, so let's look at the words used here for Gog and Magog, right? Gog, G1136, right? And we go down here, Gog equals mountain, the king of the land of Magog, who will come from the north and attack the land of Israel. No. Of Hebrew origin, Hebrew 1460, Gog, a symbolic name for some future Antichrist. Gog. Okay, so that's who Gog is, the future Antichrist. In the land of the north, right? For those that don't understand the flat earth, it's very important that you understand that, because what is north of Israel? Magog, of Hebrew origin, H4031. And we go down here and it says Magog, overtopping, right? A land north of Israel, from which the king of Gog will come to attack Israel. And it says here, Magog, a foreign nation, an anti-Christian party, Magog. But they don't even, let's go into the Hebrew origin, right, for Magog. And it says here, Magog. Magog, land of Gog. And then this is where you see this. The second son of Japheth, grandson of Noah, and the progenitor of several tribes northward from Israel. Okay. Son of Japheth. So it's Media and Cappadocia, I believe. And habitation of the descendants of Gog, son of Japheth, and the grandsons of Noah. Okay. So this is the Gog and Magog battle that's going to happen after the first resurrection. To gather them together to battle, who the number of whom is the sand of the sea. Remember the onrushing multitude that goes to try to make war with the Lamb? And they went on the breadth of the earth and encompassed the camp about in the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, stand before God, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. So when people tell you that your works don't matter, it's all faith. No, it ain't. It's works too. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. This is why I tell people, it's a lot of people that try to condemn others to hell when they don't even know whose name was written in the book of life. So there's that. And no one down here is the judge, period. And this is dealing with the coming of the Antichrist. It also in Revelation 13, dealing with the second beast. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Messiah, Yahushua, the Mashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, nor be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by us from us, as the day of the Messiah is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, which we're already seeing, right? When it says in Ezra that the land will be barren of faith, right? That's the falling away. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God. Remember, you are the temple of the Most High. Your body is the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him who is coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs, lying wonders, and with all deceivableness and of unrighteousness. Right? What is unrighteousness? Unrighteousness is not keeping the laws. And them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So the truth is going to save you. For this cause God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Those that don't believe, he's going to give you the delusion that you will believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness, who had pleasure in breaking his laws. But we are bound to give thanks always to Yah for you, brethren, beloved of the Messiah, because Yah have from the beginning chosen you to salvation through the sanctification of the Spirit, right? This is the part that they leave out. They say through the sanctification of the Spirit, and they stop there. But it says, and the belief of truth, and belief of the truth. Whereunto he called you by our gospel to obtain the glory of our Mashiach Yehoshua, aka Jesus Christ. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have taught. Why is it saying here in the New Testament that we are supposed to hold the traditions that we have been taught, whether by word or epistle? Now, our Mashiach Yehoshua himself and Yah, even our Father, which hath loved us, have given us everlasting consolation and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts, and establish you in every good word and work. Right? You're supposed to work. All right. So, seeing as my reception has been a little choppy and I'm reaching the 2 hour, 30-minute mark, probably might just hold. Well, it's not even too many people in here. I wish my connection was working a little bit better than what it was today, but I'm trying to incorporate having question and answer 10 minutes after each discussion so that people could ask questions, and whatever questions you have, we can go into the Bible and find out the answers, because that's what the main authority is. I don't run to science. I don't run to theologians. I don't run to scholars. I read and I ask for myself, and wherever the Spirit leads me to go, that's where I go, right? Now, history is a big part of understanding a lot of things, but again, always let the words of the Most High be the authority to see whether things of history be true or fabricated. So, hopefully I could find a better spot, which I think I found one. Let me see if this is okay. So the spot I have it in right now seems to be pretty good as a connection spot. So I'm gonna start trying to leave it there. And yeah. So I'm gonna call this, and it's 108. I gotta get in here and do some stuff, clear this clear this yard, sweep up or rake up these apples and stuff before nighttime. So I hope everybody is blessed, and hope everybody stay prayed up, stay aware, stay in the word, stay in the truth, and let the Most High's words be the utmost authority, regardless of whatever man comes around and tells you different. Always let the words of the Most High be the reigning and ruling authority, period. With that said, shalom, everybody. Have a happy Shabbat if you are keeping that. And if you're not, hey, more power to you. But, for those that keep the Shabbat, happy Shabbat. For those that don't, I would hope that, you would read, study, and see that, it is a blessed day. It is a holy day. And I think that, we should be keeping that to show that we're at least trying to stray away from disobedience and come into obedience, right? But with that said, shalom. Have a good day, everybody.